Tommy Beer. Welcome to GOATQUEST, brother.
Welcome. You're welcoming me
after
a year and a half?
Almost 2 years. It's a love affair at this point.
Oh, yes, it is.
Let's crack. Let's crack a lack. And there you go. Cheers to you. We don't have a Lions victory to celebrate on this GOATQUEST new week. We're mid-season doldrums. That's what I'm going to call it. 5-3 is probably not where we thought we would be at this point.
No, but I was at the game last week, and just had a bad day.
Lackluster. All phases.
Out-coached, out everything.
Poor clock management. Special teams in disarray.
Penalties that weren't penalties.
Refereeing, certainly. It was a phase of the game that went against the Lions.
Just, you have sort of those certain days that you just cannot get out of your own way.
I know a lot of people were very negative towards the refereeing because it was pivotal calls that extended drives that the Vikings got points on. So they got points on 2 drives that were aided and abetted by penalties that were phantom. And it's the same. It was the umpire, the back judge, the umpire in the back and the offensive backfield making both calls, seemingly head up his ass or another orifice.
But if you look at the stats, the Vikings had almost as many penalties and yards.
Just not as key moments.
Not as key. They weren't key. That's the
didn't extend a third and 19.
Third and 19 to a first down. That was wasn't even a.
Key calls put them in positive situations against the Lions, but the Lions had every opportunity to win that game and did not execute offensively or defensively. It looked like Jared Gough went back to playing scared. Flores had him on his heels. He did not see the blitz pickup as quickly or effectively as he normally does.
Our offensive line looked like it did in week 1 against Green Bay. Ineffective, couldn't run block, couldn't pass block. Made mistakes, didn't pick up blitzes. How many times Jahmyr Gibbs get run over by that linebacker?
Yeah.
Okay, you can't have that, right? I mean, that's going to happen. Most of the time, linebackers are bigger than Jahmyr Gibbs, but just run over and sack the quarterback.
I think, so Jahmyr Gibbs missing blitz pickup.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman whiffing and having Ole blocks. But I don't think that the offensive line is as much heat as they took. You know what you're going to get when Brian Flores is on the other sideline. Yeah. You're going to get a mix of disguises and blitzes. There's going to be consistent, almost continual pressure. Yeah. And therefore the hot routes have got to be prioritized. And I did not see I saw receivers open on the hot routes that he did not take advantage of. So either he was not getting a good pre-snap read on where it was going to open up, or the offensive line, he expected the offensive line to give him more time. And again, against that defense, with that particular defensive coordinator, I think your expectations on time should be very low.
We got out-coached. And I think most of the time in this year that I've seen, and even the last few years, we don't get out-coached. We got out-coached at game 2. Every time there was a blitz pickup, they had an answer for it. Every time that there was a DB coming off the end, they just were prepared for it. I just basically outcoached, and then who knows on special teams. Sometimes one guy misses a tackle and it makes all of special teams look bad. But
I don't want to hear about the block kick on the part of the line. That kick was low. That kick was incredibly low. Yeah. Jake Bates missed the kick. It was a very, very low kick. We joked on our little alumni text thread that Tom Ledbetter could have actually blocked that kick without leaving his feet, as if he could leave his feet. That was a 6-foot human being blocking a kick without leaving their feet. You got to get the ball up over hands.
Yeah, and I had a lot of my golfing buddies that were there at the game, and you have certain days where you go out and play golf and you shoot in the 70s, and then the next day you'll shoot in the 90s. Still athletic performance.
I want to make a call out on that. I also thought the play calling was very poor. The offensive coordinator, Morton, who seems to have really caught his stride in the last few weeks and looked like he was dialing up the right deals, in this particular case, I'm with you. If the running game doesn't seem to be getting going, I don't think you abandoned it as quickly as he did. When an offensive line is having a tough time with pressure, let them put the weight on their front hand and get downhill on people. Let them get into the game by banging in the run block scenarios. And I don't care if I have a couple 3-and-outs that only get me to 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2, right? I want to beat you up a little bit and tenderize you so that those linebackers are staying home, because those linebackers did not honor the run by the third quarter. No. And that's why you saw very low production from Sam Laporta and the tight ends.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not having to worry about the run affects everything.
It does.
Right?
And our tight end is usually a very serious weapon in our offense that linebackers and strong safeties have to but if they're coming up to honor the run, if Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery would have been the legitimate two-headed threat that they normally are, you don't have the same willingness to fly at the quarterback.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't get out of your own way. I mean, it's just the way sports are. You don't always have your good shit, and we didn't have our good shit at any level. And we lost only by 3 points, but that wasn't a 3-point game. You know, we should have lost by 10. That was a 10-point game.
What was the fan experience leaving that game? Was it as grumbling and humbling?
Yeah, I think so. You know,
bandwagon boo birds?
No. We're so far away from the boos coming in and taking over the stadium like they used to 6, 7, 8 years ago or 10 years ago.
Happy to hear that.
No, I mean, it was sold out. It was a great, turnout. Just didn't have their good stuff. They just couldn't get out of their own way. That's it. When you watch Dan Campbell in the interview afterwards, we got out coached. We didn't have our players weren't mentally ready to play. They didn't pick up the blitzes. They didn't do the things they have to do, and Minnesota did.
So let's talk about coaching. New coach in New England, Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, 7-2.
7-2. He's won 6 games in a row. The New England Patriots, points against plus 68.
I'm happy to see.
Well, let me say that again.
I'm happy to see someone that's old school be successful.
Mike Vrabel.
Because Vrabel's old school.
Old school. Had good teams in Tennessee. Somehow wore out his welcome there. Be careful what you wish for, Tennessee. Now the New England Patriots, who started 1-2, have won 6 in a row. They're sitting at 7-2 atop the AFC East. The reason I say points for and against, 68 points to the plus. Pinch me. That's the same plus side of the point differential that the Buffalo Bills have.
Yeah.
You've watched the Buffalo Bills play over the...
Sure.
How does New England get this good, this fast, with seemingly a quarterback maturing and a new coach? Those are the real substantive changes.
I don't know. I mean, I watched you don't see a whole lot of Patriot games back here. I mean, once in a while, but when there's those 2 games on at 1:00.
Yeah.
It's never the Patriots.
No.
It's always Green Bay.
It used to be.
It used to be.
It used to be in the Tom Brady era.
Yeah, in the Tom Brady era, but it's never the Patriots. Who knows? Shit.
Is it just the old school mentality of the Patriot pride, the Patriot way, being reborn from a disciple of that era? I mean, are they measuring themselves differently? You tend to lean towards no.
I would say
it's not
no.
the coaching,
I mean,
it's the players.
If you're on a podcast and you have to talk about shit because you're on a podcast, yes. Yes, we could debate those answers all day. Sometimes shit just comes together. Yeah. Right?
And at 1-2, the sky was still falling. Remember when the season started?
And I didn't even look. I mean, have they been completely healthy? I don't know. I don't fucking know the Patriots, line
Well, you know that Drake May is spinning it. And he's got great feet, and he picks up every first down. Every third down scramble is a first down with him.
Yeah.
So there's pieces coming together there. But as we see a young quarterback doing it in the AFC East, we see the oldest quarterback doing it in the AFC North. Aaron Rodgers, the ayahuasca king, has come off of his plantation of psychedelics and come down to a 5-3 record where once again Mike Tomlin disrespect him, tell him that his defense is garbage, or what's going on with the Steelers. How can they be giving up 40 points? 5-3 atop the division. Once again, Steelers just win.
I don't know.
Coaching football.
I thought he was done. I thought Rodgers was done watching him play for the Jets last year.
And they said Tomlin was done. They were both supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Both on their way out.
Well, how long's Tomlin been there?
Forever.
Longest
serving
20
coach.
years? Is it 20 years?
Longest tenured coach.
I don't know. I mean, he's still
4-1 in the conference, 5-3
When I
overall.
watch him, his scrambling ability is not what it used to be. He's still got good instincts, and he's still able to get out of blitzes, but it's not what it used to be, but it's good enough. They're 5, we'll see.
And he just beat the 7-1 Colts to give them their second loss. And again, the Colts. So I'm mentioning it again because it bears repeating. The New England Patriots are 7-2. They were dead last. Pittsburgh is 5-3 atop the North. They were predicted to be at the bottom of that, fighting it out with Cleveland at the bottom of that division. Indianapolis Colts, again, picked dead last atop the division, 7-2 in the AFC South. The entire AFC is upside down and inside out.
Yeah. I mean, look at the AFC West also, too. The Broncos are 7-2. That's a tough division.
But at least you saw what the Broncos were trying to do.
On defense, yes.
Sean Payton, you could see what he was doing. You could see that he was going defense first.
Yeah.
You could see that the young quarterback was coming on, had a great season last year. If he could duplicate that again, they just needed to get some pieces on offense. So I can understand 7-2 with Denver. What I can't understand is that the Chargers and the Chiefs are behind them.
5-4.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the last 5 years, how many games come down to the last drive for the Chiefs? Right? I mean, they just got a great quarterback. They got the best quarterback in the NFL, period.
And I do think that there was enough rub made by the media and by the fan base of the NFL to call out these mysterious extension of drive calls for Mahomes. I think that the referees actually, when I'm watching games now, I don't see Mahomes getting those Michael Jordan rules factors that he was getting last year and the year before. I think it's righted itself.
Yeah, exactly. It came out, and obviously the officials were named, right, by name, who were probably making the calls. And I'm sure the league came down on them and sat down and said, hey, you can't call that shit anymore.
Right. The coincidence
you're completely changing the game.
Yeah, you can't have a guy who has a 500% increase in drive extending calls for him, and you're not doing that for any other quarterbacks.
Correct. So, now he does bring those, the way that he plays and his ability to evade tacklers, and he's just got it. He's just, you know what I'm talking about.
It's fair, yeah. I noticed.
I mean, most guys would have been sacked in the backfield. He dodged 5 people and got to the sideline and threw it a touchdown on the sideline, and most guys wouldn't even have that opportunity.
Yeah, and
right?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes effect, similar to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
When the ball is always in your hand.
Yeah.
And when you are crafty enough to put the defense in bad situations, you get a lot more opportunities for referees to make those calls. Dancing on the sideline and ducking out at the last second. Like, it's kind of like in basketball. There's an art to drawing the charge, to drawing the offensive call. Patrick Mahomes has figured out ways to draw calls. Referees have had to catch up to see, is he drawing a call unfairly here, or is this a legitimate call where he's using his skill set to get a legit call?
And it seems like they've corrected it this year.
I believe that's the case.
There's a couple. I saw a couple on the sidelines that they didn't call.
Exactly.
That could have been called.
Exactly.
And that would have been called last year.
In years past.
Yeah.
Right. The correction has occurred.
Yep.
Philadelphia keeps on trucking. They have righted the ship and are again atop the NFC East. Remember, that would be the first time in, I believe, 17 seasons that a team wins the NFC East twice in a row. It's always a different team that wins this conference. Doesn't look like that with Philadelphia right now. They're now 6 wins. Their nearest competition
is the Cowboys
with 3 wins.
Yeah.
Okay. And the
crazy.
Washington Commanders and the Giants, especially the Giants losing Scadaboo. Washington has lost Jaden Daniels again. Now it's an elbow situation. I don't think either of those 2 teams counter them. And quite frankly, you've watched Dallas. They're sitting there with 3 wins. They just don't have the defense to compete. The Micah Parsons effect is coming back to haunt them.
How about these trades they're making?
Yeah. It's not enough.
I don't get it. Why would you trade Micah Parsons? Have you heard that he was a problem in the locker room?
The contract was the problem.
I understand. I understand.
So, and then the Jerry Jones factor with his agent, Jerry Jones wanting to be the conduit of communication, them not wanting to negotiate with the owner.
That's what it is?
I'm not saying that was the final straw. What I'm saying is that the reason they got to the point where conversations stopped is because they said, we don't want to be negotiating with the owner. We want to be negotiating. But Jerry Jones says, this is my team.
Yeah.
You're negotiating with whomever I say. And right now I say it's me.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would you not want? Yeah, whatever. It's about the final numbers anyway. Who knows what people do?
And in the case of Micah Parsons, he puts himself in a very nice situation because a half-game lead, the Green Bay Packers are sitting atop the division.
And Green Bay's a pretty cool place to play.
Yeah,
it is.
Well,
it's cold.
The tradition is remarkable.
It is, and the people and the feeling around that stadium. That's I think I've said it a couple times. I think it's the best stadium I played in.
You think that the Green Bay Packers maintain this lead over the Lions, or do the Lions find a way in the second half as we approach the halfway point? Are the Lions going to find a way to win this division?
God, isn't it amazing how the way you think of a team can change so quickly, right?
And the Chicago Bears are nipping at the heels.
Yeah, they're nipping at the heels, but they're still the Bears.
I'm glad you said it. Their schedule is in their favor.
Yeah, and our schedule is not.
But I do want to see them come down to earth. That defensive backfield in Chicago is a bear.
So is ours. If we're healthy, so is ours. Yeah, God, it's so hard. You have one bad game, and everybody forgets about the 3 or 4 game run that you were just on where you blew people out.
It's because they lose a home game
to
an inferior opponent.
Yeah, but you know what? You know who was very impressive was McCarthy. He is fast. He is a lot faster.
He is fast.
He is fast, and
okay,
he's got a cannon. He played good too. I thought he played really good.
Anzalone blowing the angle on pursuit of him,
correct,
is unforgivable.
It is.
You have him exactly where you want him. Your only job at that point, because you've heard me critical of some of these linebackers.
Yeah.
Your only job at that point is to tackle him for a 4-yard gain.
But you know what?
You don't have to make it for a 1-yard gain.
It's yelling at a DB for not being able to catch Gibbs. I'm telling you, I was at that game, and that McCarthy was unbelievably fast. I couldn't believe. I even said to my son Jake, I'm sitting there, I'm like, is he that fast? I mean, he was just running away from people. And ran away from Anzalone.
Took a terrible angle.
Took a poor angle. And Anzalone normally does not take poor angles.
Yeah.
If that's one thing he's known for.
He thought that he was chasing Jared Gough, and he was chasing a different kind of athlete.
Correct.
The other side is Tampa Bay still sitting at 6-2, but at 5-4. You have to rub your eyes. You have to clear the must and get through the dew, and you are sitting here staring at the Carolina Panthers at 5-4.
Yeah.
This team, I think you and I both said, the only team in the NFC that cannot make the playoffs, we said this. If I look at the whole NFC, I say the Giants and the Panthers are the 2 teams that cannot make the playoffs under no circumstances.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there at 5-4. So the NFL, again, has proven that parity rules.
Yeah, parity rules and a couple draft picks that add to your team that people didn't think would, right?
Other than Bryce Young. Well, first of all, he's not most people's fantasy quarterback. He's not on a roster for most teams. But
I mean,
do you know another player?
In Detroit, we don't even get to see them play.
No, we don't even know who they are.
We don't even know.
They're not on anybody's fantasy roster. These guys are the no-name roster.
Yeah.
This is the no-name roster.
Yeah.
I know they got the running back from Oklahoma State, Hubbard, Chuba.
Yeah.
I know they got Bryce Young. I think I know a couple of the wide receivers' names, but it isn't much.
You got a lot of parity in the league, and if teams stay healthy, anybody can take advantage of a 3-4 game run. We'll see.
And the NFC West is somehow loaded, Right?
Yeah.
All these teams can win it. All these teams are good. Even the Arizona Cardinals looked
Dude,
really good on Monday night.
I don't want to play them.
No.
I don't want to play that quarterback.
And if they get Kyler Murray back?
What do you mean? I think they're better without him. That
Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett is tough and makes good throws and doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Bam Knight is a nice running back.
Yeah.
The DeMarcado, the second running back, had more yards per carry than Knight did.
And their defense has played adequate.
Baker running around, Budda Baker. I mean, they got players.
Yeah.
And Sweat, I mean, they rushed the quarterback. I mean, they're coming after you.
It's tough. This is the time of year where the rubber meets the road with injuries. Look at the Lions. You want to scratch your head? Who's going to start at offensive line next week? We have no idea. Mahogany's out. They say he's out for the year. Sewell had issues. He was laying on the ground 2-3 times. I've never seen him lay on the ground, right? Our left tackle, Decker.
On and off the injured reserve.
He's on and off. Who knows?
The most remarkable game that I watched was Seattle and Washington because Daniels did start the game, right? He got the injury during the game. That game was 38-0. Okay, the final score was 38-14. But if they wanted it to be 50-0, it would have been 50-0. Okay, Seattle is legit, and their defense flies around, 11 hats on the ball. This game was in Washington, and Seattle just came across the country, 3 time zones, and whooped their ass in Washington. And Washington can't complain, right? Because their starters played, other than McLaurin, and they knocked the starters out of the game.
Yeah.
Right. So this wasn't a situation where a bunch of everybody's going to say, "Oh, well, Jaden Daniels." Well, he got knocked out of the game. Right. That's a legit other team enforcing their will on your injury situation, not otherwise. Same thing, by the way, with the Minnesota Vikings. We can bitch about all of these linemen going down. They're the ones that did it to us.
Yeah.
Right? They enforced their will defensively on our offensive line.
They really did.
So I look at the Rams and the 49ers and the Seahawks, and I'm worried about the Seahawks. I mean, we've always had trouble with the Seahawks coming out of the NFC.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be any different this year.
No. Yeah, they're playing well. Who knows?
So let's flip it over to college.
Okay.
We got to talk a little bit about where the home teams are. We've talked ad nauseum about how dominant the SEC and the Big Ten have looked versus the other conferences. Mm-hmm. The home team, the Michigan Wolverines, are sitting at 7-2 in an unenviable position, given that even if they beat Ohio State, they're still on the outside looking in, right? So there's things that still need to happen for them, especially with Indiana sitting there, in order to realize an opportunity to win the Big Ten.
God, Indiana looks tough. They just well coached, veteran players, making plays, believing in each other, just all the stuff, all the football cliches, and they just whip people.
It isn't close.
It's not even close.
It isn't. You can't look at it objectively and say this isn't one of the most dominant programs in the country.
Yeah, like Ohio State.
You can't explain it away.
Like the Ohio State games, they're closer. They're 28-14
in the first half. Teams are competing with them.
Yeah, exactly. In the first half, teams are competing.
Teams are not competing with the Hoosiers.
No, it's like over. It's over before
the
it started.
Same teams that are competing with Ohio State in the first half are not competing against Indiana.
I would agree.
They are not competing.
No, they're at a different level.
Oregon was not competing with Indiana at certain points in that game. That game was closer because Oregon's highly skilled.
Sure.
But there were points in that game where Indiana was putting their foot down on Oregon. And that's the only game that's even representative of a fight.
Yeah.
The rest of these games
are over.
They're
over. The first quarter, they're over.
They're 9-0 and it's over.
Yeah.
Right? Illinois, it was over. I mean, you look at these teams and they have not competed against. So Signetti is a wicked wizard magician who may have sold his soul to the devil, but we got to figure out how to beat Indiana if you're going to go through and win a Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
Whether
I just love listening to him and what he says about his organization and the people that work for him and the people that work for Indiana football. I mean,
You Googled him last year.
what's that?
You Googled him last year. Remember he told you to Google him, and you Googled him.
Yeah, I Googled him.
And now you know.
No, but just the right mindset, right? Keeping everybody on point, right? Making sure the trainers and everybody else aren't getting too happy of being 9-0, right?
Yeah.
Right? And keeping people humble. And that's the hard part, especially in today's world with all this social media shit. I mean, everybody sees everything.
He gets them back to we're 0-0 for this week.
Correct. And all the
This
coaches.
week we're 0-0.
And the training staff and the people around the program. Everybody keep it humble.
You see the same thing with Steve Elko and Texas A&M.
Saban used to do a great job of that, right?
But specifically Texas A&M now. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to see. That's the comparison for me. Jimbo Fisher, $90 million buyout. They bring in Elko. People are like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Same thing with Signetti. What is Signetti going to do at Indiana that nobody else could do at Indiana? Right. Both these guys come in a very understated way, believing in players and the old school mentality, and they're seemingly using that retrospective approach to be very, very successful.
Yeah.
I would love it if this were the case. Is this a trend, or is the Lane Kiffin model, because he's sitting there at 6th and 8-1 as well, is the Lane Kiffin model going to win out? Is the Alabama boosters and the Georgia boosters and the Ohio State $40 million NIL roster, who wins out long term?
At the end of this, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. This whole thing's entertainment. So I think that a lot of the people at universities that make these decisions do it for their fan base and for their alumni. And I think I don't think it's one size fits all.
I love the idea that you are presenting it as all the controversy is good for the popularity of the game, right?
Yeah.
That this debate of old school versus NIL,
Sure.
that this debate makes the game more interesting, more prominent. What I worry about is the toll that this is going to take on college athletics as a whole, because I saw a statistic that showed the percentage of the money that is now going to football and men's basketball. Football and men's basketball, of this 20.5 million, is now getting like 15 of it. So there's $5 million, and women's basketball is getting like 1.8 or 1.9. So you take that part of it out, the whole rest of a college sports environment ecosystem is getting like 3 and change.
Yeah, but doesn't football and basketball equate for like 90% of the revenue?
True enough.
And they're only getting 75% of the revenue.
But the model used to be, let these big spectator sports help pay for the rest of our student athlete program.
And I think they are a little bit. I mean,
they produce the budgets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like hockey.
My question is if you prioritize them at this level, and I'm talking about men's basketball and college football, if you prioritize them at this level and you professionalize them, because let's face it, college football is now a professional sport.
Correct. They're making more money than Underwood's making more money than he'd make in the NFL.
And they're making more money than most executives down the street.
No question.
Okay, so now that it's a professional sport, are we now separating the college experience entirely? And what are we even, I mean, are these guys going to class?
What do you mean?
I mean, is this part of it? Is the academic part of it? Or should we just call it something different?
It is something different.
Right.
Yeah, this is just different, and it's not going back.
Is it really college football, or is it junior football, right? We talk about junior hockey, right? It really now is just kind of like junior football or minor league football.
Yeah, it does. And is it really a stepping stone to the NFL? Not really.
I mean, I will say I like the fact that they have the extra benefit of getting an education if they want it, right? That's a good thing
Look at
for society.
Shedeur Sanders, for example.
Right.
Right? So he's playing last year, making what, $4 or $5 million, driving a Lamborghini, buying a house out in Colorado,
Right.
all that stuff.
Same thing with Beck down at Miami now, came over from Florida or from Georgia.
Now he's making $500,000 a year sitting on the sidelines in the NFL.
Right. Makes you think about extending your college career.
Yeah. Should he have stayed at Colorado? And then look at what's happening in Colorado. What a mess.
Well, Bruce Pearl, I think he said the same thing about his Auburn basketball team, right? He's got guys that are trying to extend. They want to stay because they know for sure, in their cases, they're 100% positive they're not going to make the kind of money in the NBA.
They're taking a pay cut.
They're taking a pay cut for sure to leave Auburn.
Did you hear that? That you can actually, the B League in the NBA, you can go from the B League back to college?
Yeah.
What?
What? Because it's a semi-professional sport. Because they know that
because now college is a semi-professional sport.
And they know that if it ever goes to the court is going to decide in their favor. You can't disenfranchise somebody from making money.
Yeah.
When they have college eligibility.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good thing for most people. It's a good thing because they'll never make that money again, probably in their life, right? So if you can make it in college, good for you, and put it away. And
I hope they're wise enough to save a little bit of it. But again, if we reset what this does for college football in the conversation, as you said, all news is good news in some ways when you're trying to drum up popularity in the sport. Ohio State reigning supreme at 8-0. We talked about Indiana. We talked about Texas A&M. Then it goes Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. SEC, all sitting there with one loss.
I think BYU is the next one at number 7. I think they're still a little bit of a pretender. I mean, they've had some close games. They haven't played anybody yet.
No, that's a joke.
I really like Texas Tech, though.
And I'm not saying I don't like BYU.
Oh, no, I do. But I just don't think they're that good.
I like the quarterback. Is it Burkmeyer?
Yeah.
The Bear, I think, is his first name. I like the quarterback. I like, Kingston, the wide receiver. They play good defensively. They're well coached, but they're playing a different level of football than the SEC and the Big Ten are.
Yeah, no question.
Texas Tech, I've seen them. They're fast. They built this roster on NIL. They're 8-1. Jury's still out there. Oregon and Notre Dame, totally legit. Texas and OU, they're going to be in the talk for the playoff, but they can both be beaten twice more this year.
Utah.
Texas and Oklahoma are sitting there at 11-12. It would not shock me if both those teams got beat twice more.
Yeah. Utah surprised me by whooping up on Cincinnati. I thought Cincinnati was pretty tough, and it was a beating.
Virginia with Tony Elliott sitting down there. I mean, that's a huge shocker at 8-1. Vanderbilt came back down to earth. They got a couple of losses. Yeah. Georgia Tech took a loss. Miami took another loss. So, I mean, the bottom half of this is up for grabs. What I think is going to be really interesting is the last couple of spots.
Iowa popped in here.
Yeah. How does that? Yeah. I think that'll right itself.
Yeah.
But when I look at this, those last couple of spots is going to get interesting because when you look at 12 teams, again, as I said, Texas and Oklahoma sitting there at 11-12, both those teams could disappear from this ranking if they don't bone up and win some road games in a very tough Southeastern Conference.
Oh, no question. I like Oklahoma over Texas. I just think Manning, I don't know. When I watch him play, he just doesn't look
comfortable.
Yeah. Doesn't make,
it's processing speed. I see it in Blair Underwood from Michigan too.
Yeah. It's just processing speed. It's not
got all the tools.
Yeah, the brain doesn't matter. I mean, look at the quarterback that went to Nevada or whatever from Michigan, Orgy.
Yep.
He's horrible. He's played good there because
they can turn him loose.
They can turn him loose.
And they got a second quarterback there, and they run him. Yeah, they run him independently.
You're not turning loose in the Big Ten.
No.
Right? So it's
too many good defensive players on the edge.
Yeah.
Right? That's the big thing. And I think people lose sight of that. The speed of the edges, right, contain you enough to where you can't play Air Force football.
Yeah.
You're not out there running. You got defensive ends and outside linebackers that can frickin' fly.
Hence how people make mistakes when they draft people in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't know. You can watch all the film you want on Texas, and Texas played Texas A&M or Georgia played Ole Miss. NFL's different.
No.
It's
Did you see, speaking of different, I know I mention this kid all the time, but he's that impressive. He deserves to be. Did you watch the hit that Caleb Downs for Ohio State? Did you watch him light up that tight end?
No.
Like, if you're playing against Ohio State, you are a receiver, and you're not trying to find out where number 2 is on the field, then you should be inspecting your life insurance policy. This guy is coming to snatch your soul. This is a Mel Blount. This is a Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, I've watched him. I've watched him.
To me, if I'm a NFL GM and I'm looking around the landscape, I don't care what I need, because you always need a DB that can erase the number 1 receiver of the other team.
Yeah,
and this kid can do that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Caleb Downs and I'm saying he's my number 1 draft pick in the country. This kid is special. I haven't seen a player that from that position that takes away half the field the way he does since Deion Sanders.
Yeah. No, I've seen him play. The problem is, a lot of times with DBs, you don't see them because they don't throw at them.
No.
Right?
They want nothing to do with his side of the field.
They just take that receiver out of the deal. If Caleb Downs is on that side and they attack other places, that's what offensive coordinators do. They attack weak spots.
Yeah.
Right?
And that is what our Lions did not do.
No, we got we got the opposite done. They attacked our weak spots rather than us taking advantage of theirs.
We did not respond. So let's get to our list. Our list that we have put together for the GOAT monitor of the day is who are the greatest non-Division I players of all time.
To start my list is John Mobley.
John Mobley.
Yeah, Kutztown State.
Kutztown State.
I played with.
Is that in Pennsylvania?
Or
is it
know.
like in Kansas?
I don't know, but I played with him.
But Kutztown State is in Pennsylvania.
That
so Mobley, tell me more about Mobley.
Okay, so at the All-Star game that I went to, he was a safety. He played safety, 6 foot, 225, just jacked, right? No body fat.
This was the Snowball, East-West Shrine game.
Snowball.
Yep.
And he gave up 2 touchdowns in the game. He ended up being an all-pro linebacker for the Denver Broncos. Won 2 Super Bowls and was all-pro, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you never know.
When you look at the all-time guys, though, I like the fact that you're bringing it, making it personal.
I put him at.
We've got Isaac. We've got Isaac Tesla at wide receiver, who played at Hillsdale and then moved over to Arkansas. We've had Pittman, who got cut, but he's a Wayne State guy who's been playing for the Lions. There's guys that have made the roster from our little conference that have made the Lions roster, yourself included, Joik Bell included.
Sure.
So there's a lot of guys who have come out of Division II. A lot of guys 1AA. A lot of guys from historically black universities or from the Ivy League. Yeah. These are what we would consider non-Division I. Who are the all-timers?
Tyreek Hill.
Ooh, where'd Tyreek Hill go?
I can't believe I didn't write it down on here.
We're going to have to search for that one.
But I think he might have been 1AA. Tyreek Hill might have been 1AA.
I'm going to find that for you. Who's your next one?
Joe Flacco, Delaware.
Ooh, the Blue Hens.
Yes.
You know who else was a Blue Hen? A little more famous than Joe Flacco?
Who's that?
Joe Biden. Joe Biden, former president of the United States, played wide receiver for the Blue Hens.
Is that a lie or?
That's a true story.
That's true?
That is a true thing that happened.
Oh.
I don't know how many years he played, but that's a true thing that happened. West Alabama is what you were looking for with Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
West Alabama. He did go to Oklahoma State. He just couldn't cut it there.
Okay.
And went to West Alabama before he was a 5th-round pick. Tyreek Hill, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I got Shannon Sharp, Savannah State.
Shannon Sharp, that's a great one.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame tight end, multiple Super Bowls. Michael Strahan.
Texas Southern. Oh, that's the sack master.
Yeah, single season sack leader, Pro Football Hall of Fame. And number 2 is Walter Payton.
Walter, right? Okay. So
Jackson State.
So now you're getting into the sweet spot here.
Okay.
Jackson State, Walter Payton. There are a number of players were in historically black colleges during an era where it was difficult for them to get admission.
Mm-hmm.
So if
and
he
was a 1st-round draft pick.
Yeah. So if we went back, if we went back to like Willie Brown and we went back to I'm trying to think, Gene Upshaw, Aeneas Williams,
Yeah.
Mel Blount. They played at Southern and Grambling and places like that where it was the only place that they could get admission at the time. As we've moved kind of forward out of that era, as the civil rights era has evolved and everybody has equal opportunity to go to colleges, it has changed significantly. But GMs in the NFL still make mistakes.
Oh,
They still miss guys all the time,
they miss all the time.
right? And there's still guys who make decisions like Ivy League decisions. Chuck Bednarik, the great Hall of Fame Philadelphia Eagle, went to UPenn. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback, went to Harvard, right? I mean, there's guys who go to the Ivy League for different reasons, academically speaking, and they don't care if they try to make it to the NFL from the Ivy League. Hey, if I don't make the NFL, I got a pretty good alternative with an Ivy League degree.
Sure.
Right? So there's a little bit of that goes into Sid Luckman, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. We talked about Sid Luckman. He was a Columbia grad. The one, though, before we go further than Walter Payton, because I think Walter Payton, obviously, he's a top 3 running back of all time.
Sure.
Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, that's the conversation. But I want to talk about the defensive back who I believe he's probably the greatest Detroit Lion of all time outside of Barry Sanders, and that's Dick Night Train Lane. Okay. Dick Night Train Lane went to West Nebraska Community College, Scottsbluff.
Really?
That's a mouthful. Western Nebraska Community College, Scottsbluff.
Didn't know that existed.
Dick Night Train Lane arguably changed the position, right? I mean, this was not just shut down half the field, but shut down half the field and take your life away. And this is a big hitter who could return kicks and do it all for the Lions during those 50s runs of Super Bowl, the NFL championships.
The sad thing is, too, some guys and women are late bloomers. Yeah. It happens. There's guys that grow 4 inches, between 20 and 22 years old and put on 20 pounds that they didn't have, right? And become a different player. We've seen it in college.
Yeah.
Right? Remember Matt Carey as a freshman didn't play.
Yeah.
And we were horrible. And he was probably the best offensive lineman I ever saw at Wayne State.
Amen. So, God bless him. May rest in peace.
And he's passed. But he was probably the best. Him or Mike Denduven. There was a couple of guys at Wayne State that were really good football players. And there's a couple.
Yeah, could have played at any level.
Probably. Yeah, his foot speed was probably his. If he was lacking anything, his size wasn't.
Yeah, but he could have been on the field at any level. Could have played on the field at the Division I level. College football.
No,
I'm not making the.
Oh God, yeah, in college football, no question.
Yeah.
NFL is a little different. It's a little more speed. It's just different.
I think you see this a lot with pass rushers. You brought up Strahan, Texas Southern. Jared Allen was a small school player, another one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. Deacon Jones went to Mississippi Vocational College, right? I mean, talk about the fearsome foursome and the old LA Rams days. So I think a lot of these pass rushers are freakish, and late bloomers tend to fall into that same model as the freaks.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about Antonio Gates, right? He's a college basketball player in the MAC, right? Who just was a freakish athlete and then moves over to the tight end position. But I think you see a lot more of it with pass rushers who come out of nowhere and you're like, where did that guy play?
I think the opposite of that is actually more interesting.
What's that?
The guys that are the first round picks that never play.
Oh, yeah.
That's even more interesting.
They never make the...
How can, you bench press 400...
The Kajana Carters.
Yeah, you bench press 400 pounds, you run a 4.3 40, and you never play in the NFL. And you were first team All Big Ten.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, somebody that was in camp with me, but you remember Ricky Powers.
Sure.
He was a freshman running back. He was All Big Ten as a freshman.
Yeah.
And by the time he was a senior, he hardly played. Well, I think he got into camp with the Lions when I was there for like a week. He was there a week. How are you the number one running back in the nation on the cover of cover of Sports Illustrated? You start for Michigan, you're All Big Ten, and you never play in the NFL?
Michigan's had a few of those. Remember Tony Bowles?
Yeah.
Tony Bowles.
Tony Bowles never played. Did he play in the NFL?
Maybe he had a cup of coffee. Maybe he got into a camp.
Yeah.
Right, but not a guy who played.
Yeah.
When I even look at Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush wins the Heisman Trophy. He's the most done.
He was good.
He had a pro career
in the NFL. He was pretty.
He had a pro career. It was nothing like his college career.
No,
Nothing as spectacular as his college career.
No.
So I agree with you. Walter Payton that brings that back around, the Jackson State player, I think we're probably both going to have the same number one. But let's fill out Mount Rushmore. All right, so you've got Walter Payton at number 2. I'm going to put Dick Night Train Lane. We're both going to have
Strahan. Shannon Sharp.
I'm going to have Deacon Jones ahead of Shannon Sharp. So Shannon Sharp doesn't get on my final list. I remember Deacon Jones as a force in the early days of my watching the NFL when there was 3 channels on your TV and that's it. And you had little bunny ears that you were trying to get the signal in Boyne City, Michigan. But that takes us to number 1. I'm going to let you say it. Jerry Rice.
No question.
The greatest receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Was from Mississippi Valley State. Always open.
Yeah.
Always ran the right route.
Yeah.
Never the speed demon, which is probably why he ended up at Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah.
But talk about a guy who was consistent.
Oh, he leads the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. 2 Super Bowls, I think.
Who's the next guy? Who's the small school guy who's playing right now and is going to fight to be in that conversation?
Oh, goodness.
I'll throw one out there.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is still playing, but...
Tyreek Hill's there.
Yeah, but who knows?
I don't see him as no. I'll throw a name out there, even though it doesn't count because it is considered a Division I school, but it's the far low end of Division I. Okay. Max Crosby from Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
Max Crosby could have easily slid out of Division I entirely, was really not a highly recruited guy, and now he's a $100 million player and massively dominant at his position. And you see how much the Raiders are hurt by losing him. I mean, you take him off that defense, and it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, you've got to go to the player personnel departments, and they've got to be going back and scratching their heads, right? Because every year you got to look, and you miss a Max Crosby, right? Obviously, a bunch of people miss him. I don't know exactly where he was drafted, but you have to go back and review the film, and say, how is this guy? How did we miss him, right?
Yeah,
I mean that's the hardest thing, and it's the same in every sport too. I have a couple buddies of mine that are scouts in hockey, and they're like, "How did we miss whoever? Right? Somebody that's an all-star now. How did we miss him? I mean, we watched all the film. We saw him. How fast he skates, how fast his shot is. How his instincts are. Does he have good? They have all the rankings of all the hockey stuff." Yeah. Just as an example, and they have the same thing in football and baseball. But how do you miss shit like that? It's maddening.
It's a difficult question, and when I think when GMs are reviewing Division II players, or 1AA players,
that gets tougher.
They are really afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah,
because if you wasted a pick on somebody who did it against the highest level of competition, then you can explain it away by saying, well, I just didn't see this kind of underperformance coming because look what he did against Auburn and Alabama.
But they all go to these East-West Shrine games. All those are is combines. Those are not football games. Those are just combines.
Right.
That's all they do is line you up. Even the All-Star game I went to, that Snow Bowl that I went to, it was a combine. That's all it was.
Yeah, exactly.
And you went to it too. Where they just test you and poke you and prod you and watch film and ask you questions and see your level of compete and blah, blah, blah. And they still miss a lot.
They do. And you got the Sealer kid right now who's playing for the Miami Dolphins.
That kid is a baller.
From Ferris State.
He is a baller.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think he's another one. He could be multiple time Pro Bowler.
Yeah. And he's still making plays.
And now look at Trinidad Chambliss playing for Ole Miss from Ferris State.
Yeah.
Is he going to be the guy who comes out of a Division II program and becomes the next electrifying quarterback? Would it shock you at all to see Trinidad Chambliss in a couple of years doing what Jalen Hurts is doing for Philadelphia?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right?
No. He's fast. He's smart. He makes good throws. He makes good decisions.
He even processes fast.
Yeah.
He gets off the first read quick.
That's a good point. He looks different than Underwood.
Does.
Right?
He does.
No. Maybe that's coaching too. Maybe there's some coaching that goes in there too. Maybe
Kiffin
is kept it real simple for. I don't know. But
Anise is the one who prepped him up at Ferris State to get him ready for all of this. And, and that's another, we look at another program where they just haven't gotten there. What Worcester and Anise have done in the GLIAC, the most prosperous conference in Division II football, with what Grand Valley and Ferris State have been able to do with national championships over the last 2 years. But with those two coaches, Worcester, a former Wayne State Warrior, and Anise, who went all the way back to Montrose High School, what those two guys have been able to do in Division II is remarkable. And I don't think it's going to stop. I think they're going to keep producing great talent.
It's the recruiting. But
they are going to keep losing guys to Ole Miss and Michigan.
Probably. Yeah. You've got to go to the big time program for the money, because I don't think they have a ton of NIL money at Ferris or Grand Valley.
Does Jonathan Smith survive this season at Michigan State? Just to flip this back out of our list real quick.
I don't know. I've seen, the rumor mill's already starting that he's not a leader and that he's too quiet and that blah, blah, blah.
And now you got James Franklin and Brian Kelly and all these guys that are on the open market.
Who knows?
I would hate to see Brian Kelly, but James Franklin would, keeping him in the Big Ten.
Do you think that Kelly can go to Michigan State?
I think Michigan State will have the money to pay someone.
Yeah.
So they're going to, it's not going to be a lack of money.
Yeah.
Right? Dan Gilbert and Matt Ishbia have some money last time I checked.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Another $5 million is nothing.
So, I think they'll put together an offer for somebody that's completely legitimate, and they need to be relevant in football.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
Michigan State has got to be relevant in football again. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I think he should survive. I don't know if he does. The sad part is that with all these coaches being out there, I don't think that the Scott Worcesters and the Anises of the world that are sitting right on their doorstep, winning every year, I don't think they even get a sniff at Michigan State's coaching position.
If you look back, even our coach when we were at Wayne State, Brian Van Gorder, ended up playing or coaching at Georgia for a number of years, winning the Broyles Award, going into the NFL.
Well, had a minute of head coaching at Georgia Southern, which is now D1.
Yeah, but there's not a recipe.
No.
There's not a recipe for that. There's not a hierarchy of things that you do to get to that next level. Look at Brian Kelly. He did. Where did he go? He went from
Central Florida,
Grand
CMU,
CMU. Then he went, and then he got the job at Notre Dame. Right? Was it from CMU?
No.
Or was there somebody else in between? Cincinnati.
Yeah,
and he did well at Cincinnati.
Then Notre Dame.
So that's not a formula for anything. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, I look at Ryan Day, who came up under the Urban Meyer administration. I look at Elko. Some of these guys were coordinators, right?
Yeah.
And they got promoted from the coordinator slot. I'm not saying that Division II coaches should get the leap into division, but I also don't think you need to go hire somebody else's afterthought, somebody else's trash that they left at the curb.
Yeah.
Right. I think you can get these new guys. Ryan Day has certainly proven it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can deny what Freeman is doing at Notre Dame, what Elko is doing at Texas A&M, what Signetti is doing at Indiana.
Yeah.
These guys were coordinators. At some point, you got to get a head coaching chance to prove yourself.
If you look at Grand Valley and Ferris, why are they so good? They got great players, right?
Which means you got to recruit them.
You got to recruit great players. So it's probably all, if we really want to, whittle it down, it's recruiting. Who can recruit really good players to play football for you
and run a really good system? That's
run a good system,
because we're hearing all the rumors of what's going on at some Division II programs about systems not being tight, about coaches not showing up to practice, about coaches treating this like it's a part-time job, already looking for their next job.
Yeah, but look at Dabo Sweeney. Talked to a couple of people that have went down there and met with him, and they said he has the best organization they've ever been around in their life. All the coaches, all the trainers, the staff, everything is on point.
Everybody's happy to be a Tiger.
Yeah, how are they doing now?
Yeah.
How's Clemson doing now without good players?
It's lean.
Yeah. Oh,
he was late. He was late to the portal, and he was late to NIL.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't late. He said, I'm not taking him.
Well, he's changed that tune, but it's too late.
Damn right.
He's going to have to play a lot of catch-up.
You have to play or you're going to be fired. You have to play the game that's being played today.
Can you believe in one, and this is how shocking it is, in 1 year, we are not talking about Clemson.
Yeah.
Until you brought up Dabo Sweeney,
yeah,
we went through the whole rankings.
Yeah.
We talked about looking at the 12.
Yeah.
We talked about looking at who the up-and-comers were.
Yeah.
All these players.
Our buddy Jeff Henson went down there and spent a week, and he told me the story about spending the week at Clemson. And he's gone to Tennessee before, and he's gone to other
LSU.
He's gone to other big-time programs. He goes, there's nothing like Clemson. Nothing. He goes, they let us in our locker room. They called us the week after we got back and asked if,
the professionalism.
Just the professionalism of everything. But it doesn't matter if you don't have the studs. You got to have the players.
You got to have the studs.
You got to have the Jimmies and Joes.
We would be remiss as we wrap this up if we didn't congratulate the Los Angeles Dodgers with extra innings heroics multiple times on death's door in Game 6 and Game 7. They pull it out, an epic series for Shohei Ohtani, almost equally epic for George Springer on the other side with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Will Smith with the home run in the, I believe that was the top of the.
I wish I could say the pitcher's name. Yoshin.
Yamamoto?
Yeah, Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, baby.
Yeah, on no rest.
No rest. Going out there and spinning a couple innings at you.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened, since Randy Johnson did it, the big unit, many moons ago. So congratulations to the Dodgers. We're in the middle of this thing. We will be looking towards the second half of the NFL season. The next time we join you, we will be right dead smack in the middle of it. Until then, go out there into the world and be the GOAT, damn it, at whatever it is that you're doing today.